This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making news in Armenia today. Russian border guards withdrew from Yerevan's Zvartnots airport yesterday, putting an end to the Kremlin's more than three-decade presence at Armenia's main international airport. Speaking at a handover ceremony in the airport's passenger terminal, the newly appointed head of Armenia's border guard troops personally thanked staff from Russia's Federal Security Service, or FSB, for their work. "We will continue to apply the experience and skills passed on by Russian border guards over 32 years of joint service," Edgar Hunanyan said alongside Roman Golubitsky, who headed the Russian guards. This withdrawal follows an agreement in May by Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan and Russian President Vladimir Putin to remove Russian border guards from Zvartnots and along Armenia's border with Azerbaijan. Russia's presence at the airport, where it had access to information on all visitors coming through it, came to an end as the Armenian government has been pivoting away from Russia. Agreements remain in place for Russian border guards stationed along Armenia's borders with Turkey and Iran, as well as at a military base in the northern city of Gyumri. There is no indication that this will change, at least according to Russian officials. Turkey's foreign minister has thrown cold water on a possible breakthrough in Armenian-Turkish normalization efforts after special representatives of the two countries met on the border Tuesday for talks after 2 years of inaction. Meetings between Armenia and Azerbaijan continue, and we have to prepare our scenario for the settlement of Armenian-Azerbaijani relations. Now the work in that direction continues. We can implement the positive scenario, that is, open the border with Armenia, Hakan Fidan said in an interview published today on the Turkish news site Sabah. Before a peace deal can be signed, Azerbaijan is demanding that Armenia cede an extraterritorial corridor through its southernmost Sunik region and to make a number of changes to its constitution. Armenian officials have said giving a corridor is out of the question, and while there has been talk of potentially holding a referendum on a new constitution, the process would take years and is not likely to pass. Fidan tying the Armenian-Turkish normalization process to the Armenian-Azerbaijani talks goes against the statement issued by Turkey and Armenia after Tuesday's meeting, which re-emphasized their agreement to continue the normalization process without any preconditions. The United States has suspended more than $95 million in aid to Georgia following the passage of a foreign agent law similar to one enacted in Russia. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken deemed the legislation anti-democratic and incompatible with membership norms in the EU and NATO in a press release yesterday. In Russia, the Kremlin has used the law, which critics say inspired the Georgian legislation, to silence opposition and crack down on political dissent. The Biden administration's decision to reconsider U.S.-Georgia relations comes after Tbilisi's riot police reportedly used violence to crush the anti-legislation protests last May, despite fierce opposition from hundreds of thousands of demonstrators who took to the streets. The law was still enacted by Parliament after overriding a veto by the country's pro-Western president. While Georgia is moving closer to Russia through actions like this by its ruling Georgian Dream Party, the opposite is happening in Armenia. In June, Washington and Yerevan upgraded their relations to a strategic partnership. The Armenian government established a company for the construction of a new nuclear power plant at today's cabinet meeting. The company will conduct a comparative study of proposals to replace the aging Metsamor plant, which plays a crucial role in Armenia's energy sector by meeting about 30% of the country's domestic energy needs. The company will then propose which technology option should be used in a new plant, and then upon approval negotiate and prepare documents for its construction, financing, and operation. The government expects that the new company will be able to submit a report in 1.5 to 2 years and has been allotted an annual budget of around $2 million. The Armenian government signed a $65 million modernization and renovation deal with Russia's state-run atomic energy company last December to keep the Soviet-era Metsamor facility running until 2036. However, it appears to be looking to pivot away from Russia in this respect as well, as last month the head of Armenia's influential Security Council indicated they are exploring options with the United States and that the ball is in its court. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 35. That's the age of Armenian Olympian Vahagan Davityan, who is the oldest gymnast competing at the Paris Olympics. Davitian, who will turn 36 just a week after the game's end, is the older brother of teammate Artur Davitian, age 31, who won a bronze at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Nearly all their competitors are in their 20s. Despite his age, Vahagan qualified for the men's rings final, as did Artur on vault, and they will both compete for medals on Sunday. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.